Good day everyone. I am Christine Angel Licamo, one of the reporters from Group 10. So for today's lesson, we are going to report about the information age. So first, let me give you a short recap about what is information all about. So information is an uncountable noun, so meaning facts about something or someone. Before we tackle our lesson for today, let us read first the lesson objectives. At the end of this, the students should be able to first define information age, determine the history of the information age, and understand the factors that need to be considered in checking website sources. The information age. So, this is a time or period which information is easy to access and very convenient to have. So the information age is defined as a period starting in the last quarter of the 20th century when information became effortlessly accessible through publication and through the management of information by computers and computer networks. The information age is also called the digital age and the new media age because it was associated with the development of computers. So according to James R. Messenger, who proposed the theory of information age in 1982, the information age is a true new age based upon the interconnection of computers via telecommunication, with these information systems operating on both a real-time and as-needed basis. Furthermore, the primary factors driving this new age forward are convenience and user-friendliness, which in turn will create user dependence. So when we are talking about information age, we should always keep in mind that it is not only talking about computers, but also everything that is bringing you information like books, newspaper, magazine, social media, television, radio. So any form as long as it gives information to us, and that is information age. So let's proceed. Let's talk about the history and the emergence of the information age. So the year of 3000 BC, dinhi na-occur ang Sumerian civilization, which they are the first people who invented writing system that use pictographs to represent words. I know that you are already familiar sa word nga cuneiform. So means wedge shape that marks on clay tablets. So cuneiform ang tawag sa ilang writing system at the year of 3000 BC. So 2100 BC, it was the beginnings of Egyptian hieroglyphic writing. In 1300 BC, tortoise shell and oracle bone writing were used. So this time, kuha nila ang shell sa turtle and ang mga bones din ilahang painiton, din ilahang basahon ang naa sa likod sa shell o kung sa'y naka-drawing sa shell o kung sa pinaka-drawing sa bone, which do you believe nga ang mga kanang mga draws din ha is way sa God to communicate to them. So let's proceed. At the 500 BC, papyrus roll was used. To 220 BC, Chinese small cell writing was developed. 100 AD, the book or parchment codex. At the 105 AD, wood block printing and paper was invented by the Chinese. And at 1455, Johannes Gutenberg invented the printing press using movable metal type. So at the year of 1755, Samuel Johnson's dictionary standardized English spelling. So at the year of 1802 or 1802, the Library of Congress was established, invention of the carbon arc lamp. At the 1824, Research in Persistence of Vision published. So 1830s, first viable design for a digital computer. And Augusto Lady Byron writes the world's first computer program. So at 1837, the invention of the telegraph in Great Britain and the United States. At 1861, motion pictures were projected onto a screen. So at 1876, Dewey Decimal System was introduced. At 1877, Edward Muybridge demonstrated high-speed photography. So at the 1899, the first magnetic recordings were released. 1902, motion picture special effects were used. 1906, Lee De Forest invented the electronic amplifying tube or triode. So 1923, television camera tube was invented by Zieverkin. 1926, the first practical sound movie. In 1939, regularly scheduled television broadcasting began in the U.S. In 1940s, beginnings of information science as a discipline. In 1945, Vannevar Bush foresaw the invention of hypertext. In 1946, ENIAC computer was developed. So at the year of 1948, birth of field of information theory proposed by Claude E. Shannon. So at 1957, Leonard's transistor was developed by Jean Horney. In 1958, the first integrated circuit. At 1960s, Library of Congress developed LCMERC, machine readable code. In 1969, the Unix operating system was developed, which could handle multitasking. In 1978, Intel introduced the first microprocessor chip. So 1972, the optical Laserdisc was developed by the Philips and MCA. So in 1974, the MCA and the Philips agreed on a standard video disc encoding format. So next, at the 1975, the Altair microcomputer kit was released, first personal computer for the public. So in 1977, the Radio Shack introduced the first complete personal computer. In 1984, Apple Macintosh computer was introduced. In mid-1980s, artificial intelligence was separated from information science. In 1987, the HyperCard was developed by Bell Atkinson recipe box metaphor. In 1991, 450 complete works of literature on one CD-ROM was released. In January 1997, RSA encryption and network security software Internet Security Code cracked for a 48-bit number. So that was all about the history and emergence of information age. So all in all, up to now, there were a lot of invention about information age. Like for example, kanang cellphone, di ba sa una kay kuan naman na keypad or katong murag kanang murag antena. But now is mga flat screen, mga flatted cellphone na siya, like sa Oppo, iPhone. And then, ang kwansad, example sa ang TV, mas nidako siya, mas mudako pa dyan na siya in the future. And then, ang computer karon kay kuan na siya lain-laing design. So as long as they give information, matawag na siya or masakop siya as a part of the information age. So next, evolution of man and information. So as man evolved, information and its dissemination has also evolved in many ways. So no, if ang usa kuno ka man kay mas mo-evolve siya, so mas daghan siya kanang knowledge na or na siya mas daghang curiosity, which mean or which lead nga magkuan siya mag-search unya maka-discover siya kanang new information nga iya pong ma-share sa uban nya makatag siya. So the more nga mo evolve ang tao, the more pod nga ang information mas ma-new or mas mo evolve pod. So next, we are going to talk about the truths of the information age, which to be discussed by.
So, good morning everyone. I will discuss all about truths of the information age. Robert Harris detailed some facts on the information age. First, we have information must complete. Just like in the news, make sure that you should complete the information by giving the factual information to others. Just like information, it should start with who, where, when, what, why, and how. Information must be complete para mas paniwalaan. Next, newer is equated with truer. Just like in our previous topic, we tackled about scientific information wherein new ideas did not accept with other people. So it means that may mga bagay tayo na pinaniniwalaan noon na hindi na tama sa ngayon. It means that the current information are always the truth. Next, selection is a viewpoint. So for example, looking for a newspaper that you are interested, may different part that you will see something where you are interested. So it means kung ano yung sinilik o pinili mo, that is your viewpoint, opinion, and understanding about the information. So, number 4, the media sells what the cultures buys. So, in this, it is where showing kung ano yung mga pinapalabas na informasyon sa internet, yung nakakapag-catch sa attention or interest for people, just like information, mas nagiging popular, mas napapansin at nagkakaroon ng interest ang tao kapag ang informasyong yun ay catchy sa interest ng mga viewers. Next, the early word gets the worm. Just like sa kasabihan, the early bird, it catches the worm. Once who the first release the information, siya yung unang makikredits at unang makikilala. Next, you are what you eat, and so is your brain. So just like in science, you'll eat unhealthy foods, junk foods, and what would happen to your health? It would be malnourished. Just like in our brain. Kasi paano ito gagana if our brain did not respond and we can't think right? And next, anything in great demand will be counterfeited. So, as you can see, sobrang daming product na ang available because of information. TV, radio, magazines, laptop, and etc. So, once we have an available information about that, magkakaroon na ng counterfeited or nag-steal na tayo ini-imitate yung mga bagay na yon. And that's we called in great demand will be counterfeited. Kung ano yung sikat, yun yung ginagaya. Next, ideas are seen as controversial. It is where every news or information we know, we always have a question if it is truth. Even simply information ay binibigyan natin ng big deal because that is information, the truth about information. Next, undead information walks ever on. It means the information ay di natin kayang pigilan na kahit anong gawin natin, information will be spread. We can stop the issues that we know, so the information we get from internet will be spread. Next, media presence creates the story. So meaning, basta may media, there's a behind the story, laging mayroong pangyayari. So meaning that if there's a media, there are always a story behind that. The information that came in media ay may laging merong pangyayari. Next, the medium selects the message just like in true life. So kahit sabihin mo man ang negative at positive side mo, once yung medium o yung tao sa nakikinig sa'yo ay ang gusto lang marinig ay yung negative side, di mo sila mapipilit, and that's about information age. Kahit na maganda yung information na binibigay sa kanila, once namimili yung tao yung medium, yun yung sinasabi nating medium selects the message. And last, the whole truth is a pursuit. It is where we always chase for the truth. So next, computer. Computers are among the most important contributions of advances in the information age to society. A computer is an electronic device that stores and processes data information. It runs on a program that contains the exact step-by-step directions to solve a problem. So we have different types of computer. First, we have personal computer or PC. It is a single-user instrument. PC were just known as microcomputers since they were a complete computer but built on a smaller scale than the enormous systems operated by most businesses. Second, desktop computer. It is described as a PC that is not designed for portability. The assumption with a desktop is that it will be set up in a permanent spot. Third, we have laptops. These are portable computers that integrate the essentials of a desktop computer in a battery-powered package, which are somewhat larger than a typical hardcover book. They are commonly called notebooks. Fourth, we have personal digital assistant. These are tightly integrated computers that usually have no keyboards but rely on a touch screen for user input, typically smaller than a paperback and battery-powered. So next, we have server. It refers to a computer that has been improved to provide network services to other computers, usually boast powerful processors, tons of memory, and large hard drives. 6. We have mainframes. These are huge computer systems that can fill an entire room. They are used specially by large firms to describe the large, expensive machines that process millions of transactions every day. Lastly, we have wearable computers. They involve materials that are usually integrated into cell phones, watches, and other small objects or places, perform common computer applications such as databases, emails, multimedia, and schedules. So, ito ngayon ang mga nauuso just like watch na nauuso because there are some watch na parang cellphone na lang kaya tinatawag na wearable computers.
Good day, everyone. My name is Maria Rina Fuentes, and I'm the next reporter of Miss Sheila May Paredes. The World Wide Web, or Internet. Several historians trace the origin of the Internet to Claude S. Shannon, an American mathematician who was considered as the father of information theory. He worked at Bell Laboratories, and at the age of 32. He published a paper proposing that information can be quantitatively encoded as a sequence of ones and zeros. So, the World Wide Web is an interconnected system of public web pages accessible through the Internet. The web is not the same as the Internet. The web is one of many applications built on the top of the Internet. So, why World Wide Web is used? The World Wide Web opened up the Internet to everyone, not just scientists, but it connected the world in a way that made it much easier for people to get information, share, and communicate. The World Wide Web, invented by Tim Berners-Lee, while working at CRNN in 1989, applying the concept of hyperlinking that had by there existed for some decades. He developed the first web server and the first web browser and a document formatting protocol called Hypertext Markup Language, or HTML. So ang pasabot ni Claudia A. Shannon nga papel nga iyang gi-publish sa the year of 1948 is called a mathematical theory of communication. It explains the 5 basic components such as a source, a transmitter, a channel, a receiver, and a destination. So, unsa man to sila? So, a message flows from an information source to a transmitter that encodes a signal. The communication channel, shown as the tiny square box subject to noise, conveys the signal to a receiver, which decodes the signal into a message that is delivered to a destination. So, mo to ang brief description of Shannon model. The Internet is a worldwide system of interconnected networks that facilitate data transmission among innumerable computers. It was developed during 1970s by the Department of Defense. In case of an attack, military advisors suggested the advantage of being able to operate on one computer from another terminal. In the early days, the Internet was used mainly by scientists to communicate with other scientists. The Internet remained under government control until 1984, Ross 2014. So, the Internet is a popular in the worldwide system, right? And we are mostly use this system. So, ang Internet is developed during 1970s sa Department of Defense. So, adto pun nga early days, ang Internet is usually is used by scientists to communicate sa ubang scientists. So, ang Internet remain gihapon under sa government control until 1984. One early problem faced by Internet users was speed. Phone lines could only transmit information at a limited rate. So, nakaproblema no sa Internet. So, ang mga phone lines ko no is only makatransmit na sila information sa limited rate. The development of fiber optic cables allowed for billions of bits of information to be received every minute. Companies like Intel developed faster microprocessors so personal computers could process the incoming signals at a more rapid rate. The development of fiber optic cables allowed for billions of bits of information to be received every minute. Companies like Intel developed faster microprocessors so personal computers could process the incoming signals at a more rapid rate. So, si Sergey Brin and Larry Page are in the CEO and president of Google parent company Alphabet respectively. They met at Stanford University while studying for PhDs in computer science and launched Google in 1998. Together, they invented Google's PageRank algorithm, and in 2015, they created Alphabet, which includes Google, Nest, Kalesko, and other entities. So silang duha is directors of a standard research project, built a search engine that listed results to reflect page popularity in order to mean that the most popular result will frequently be the most usable. So after talking with family and friends and other investors into contributing $1 million, the researchers launched their company in 1998. So mao to no naglan sila og isa ka search engine. So mao ni ang Google. Google is now the world's most popular search engine, accepting more than 200 million queries daily. Back then, new forms of communication were also introduced. Electronic mail or email was a suitable way to send a message to fellow workers, business partners, or friends. Messages could be sent and received at the convenience of the individual. A letter that took several days to arrive could be read in minutes. Internet service providers like America Online and CompuServe set up electronic chat rooms. These were open areas of cyberspace where interested parties could join in a conversation with perfect strangers. Surfing the internet, surfing the net became a pastime in and of itself. So, consequently, companies whose businesses are built on digitized information have become valuable and powerful in relatively short period of time. The current information age has spawned its own breed of wealthy, influential brokers, from Microsoft's Bill Gates to Apple's Steve Jobs to Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg. Critics charge that the Internet created a technological divide that increased the gap between the members of the higher class and the lower class of society. Those who could not afford a computer or a monthly access fee were denied these possibilities. Many decried the impersonal nature of electronic communication compared to a telephone call or a handwritten letter. So grabe no ang mga critics mo nag-charge adto nga ang internet create technological divide that increase the gap between the members. So sa higher o sa lower nga class sa society. Kato kung hindi maka-afford og computer or monthly access fee is i-denied nila possible. So daghan ang mga personal nature of electronic communication kaysa telephone call or an handwritten letter. On one hand, the unregulated and loose nature of the internet allowed pornography to be broadcast to millions of homes. Protecting children from these influences or even from meeting violent predators would prove to be difficult. Nowadays, crimes in various forms are rampant because of the use of social media. Cyberbullying is an issue that poses alarm worldwide. Consequently, we need to be aware of the possible harm and damage due to abuse of these advances in the information age. So, cyberbullying is popular in the worldwide, di ba? Daghan kayo mga na biktima tungod aning cyberbullying nga magamit ra ka og social media. Mun ang di basta-basta jud mag kuan sa imong mga information sa social media kay possible mo na maka-harm nimo or maka-damage due to abuse nga maka-advances sa information age. Let's move on to the applications of computers in science and research. One of the significant applications of computers for science and research is evident in the field of bioinformatics. Bioinformatics is the application of information technology to store, organize, and analyze vast amount of biological data which is available in the form of sequences and structures of proteins, the building blocks of organisms, and nucleic acid, the information carrier. Early interest in bioinformatics was established because of the need to create databases of biological sequences. The human brain cannot store all the genetic sequences of organisms, and this huge amount of data can only be stored, analyzed, and be used efficiently with the use of computers. While the initial databases of protein sequences were maintained at individual laboratories, the development of a consolidated formal database known as SWES-PROT, Protein Sequence Database, was initiated in 1986. It now has about 70,000 protein sequences from more than 5,000 model organisms, a small fraction of all known organisms. The enormous variety of divergent data resources is now available for study and research by both academic institutions and industries. These are made available as public domain information in the larger interest of research community through the internet or www.ncbi.nlm.nih.gov and CD-ROOMs on request from www.rssb.organization. These databases are constantly updated with additional entries. Computers and software tools are widely used for generating these databases and to identify the function of proteins. Model of the structure of proteins determine the coding regions of nucleic acid sequences. Find suitable drug compounds from a large pool and optimize the drug development process by predicting possible targets. Some of the software tools which are handy in the analysis include BLAST, or used for comparing sequences, Annotator, an interactive genome analysis tool, and GeneFinder, or a tool to identify coding regions and splice sites. The sequence information generated by the Human Genome Research, initiated in 1988, has now been stored as primary information source for future applications in medicine. Moreover, from the pharmaceutical industry's point of view, bioinformatics is the key to rational drug discovery. It reduces the number of trials in the screening of drug compounds and in identifying potential drug targets for a particular disease using high-power computing workstations and software like Insight. Pharmacogenomics, where potential targets for drug development are hypothesized from the genome sequences. Molecular modeling, which requires a lot of calculations, has become faster due to the advances in computer processors and its architecture. In plant biotechnology, bioinformatics is found to be useful in the areas of identifying disease resistance and genes and designing plants with high nutrition value.
That's all, and thank you. And the next reporter is Miss Annabelle Betty.
How to check the reliability of web sources. The internet contains a vast collection of highly valuable information, but it may also contain unreliable, biased information that mislead people. We all know that anyone can post information on the internet and some of that is not reliable. No matter what kind of information we're looking for, we should always look for credible sources. We want to make sure that we are getting the most accurate and reputable information available. In other words, we need to make sure that what we are reading is factual and correct. So the following guidelines can help us check the reliability of web sources that we gather. It is noteworthy to consider and apply the following guidelines to avoid misinformation. So, number one is, who is the author of the article or site? So, who is the author of the source is one of the most important questions to ask when assessing credibility. When looking at the author of the source, we should make sure it is someone who is an expert in the topic. Credible authors will cite their sources so that you can check the accuracy of and support for what they've written. So how to find out the author of the article? So, look for an about or more about the author link at the top or sidebar of the web page. Some pages will have a corporate author rather than a single person as an author. If no information about the authors of the page is provided, be suspicious. Like asking questions, does the author provide his or her credentials? What type of expertise does he or she have the subject he or she is writing about? Be especially careful when evaluating internet sources. Never use websites where an author cannot be determined or is listed as anonymous. Sites such as Wikipedia, which are collaboratively developed by users, vary in the quality of the content because anyone can add or change content. The validity of information on such sites may not meet the standards for academic research. So next is who published the site. So how to find out? Look at the domain name of the website that will tell you who is hosting the site. For instance, the Lee College Library website is http://www.lee.edu/library. The domain name is lee.edu. This tells you that the library website is hosted by Lee College. Another, do not ignore the suffix on the domain name, the three-letter part that comes after the quotation mark. The suffix is usually descriptive of what type of entity hosts the website. Keep in mind that it is possible for sites to obtain suffixes that are misleading. Here are some examples. .edu equals educational, .com equals commercial, .mil equals military, .gov equals government, .org is non-profit. So next, number 3. What is the main purpose of this site? Why did the author write it and why did the publisher post it? So like to sell a product, as a personal hobby, or as public service. So when deciding which sources to use, we should take the purpose or point of view of the author into consideration. Is the author presenting a neutral, objective view of a topic, or is the author advocating one specific view of a topic? Next is number 4. Who is the intended audience? If you are writing for a professional or academic audience, they may value peer-reviewed journals as the most credible sources of information. If you are writing for a group of residents in your hometown, they might be more comfortable with mainstream sources such as Time or Newsweek. So last is number 5. What is the quality of information provided on the website? So timeliness. When was the website first published? Is it regularly updated? Check for dates and at the bottom of each page on the site. Does the author cite sources? Just as in print sources, web sources that cite their sources are considered more reliable. So here's the examples of useful and reliable web sources. Number 1, EFEE newsletter or Alzheimer's Foundation of America newsletter. AFEE newsletter is an electronic newsletter highlighting relevant news and events related to dementia. Number 2, American Memory. American Memory is the online resource compiled by the Library of Congress National Digital Library Program. With the participation of other libraries and archives, the program provides a gateway to rich primary source materials relating to the history and culture of the United States. So number 3, Bartleby.com Great Books Online, a collection of free ebooks including fictions, non-fictions, references, and verses. So number 4, Chronicling America. Chronicling America is a website providing access to information about historic newspapers and select digitized newspaper pages and is produced by the National Digital Newspaper Program. So, number 5, cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is a free collection of ebooks from eBrary plus additional reports and documents to help better understand, prevent, and take action against this growing concern. Next, number 6, drug information website. So, National Library of Medicine's Midline Plus. The National Library of Medicines is the world's largest medical library and a part of the National Institute of Health. Next, drugs.com. Drugs.com is the largest, most widely visited, independent medicine information website available on the internet. Their aim is to be the internet's most trusted resource for drug and related health information. Next, PDR Health. PDR Health, or the Physician's Desk Reference, is a widely used source of drug information by American physicians and patients. The PDR is a collection of written and pictorial information that is provided and paid for by pharmaceutical manufacturers. Next, number 7, Global Gateway. Global Gateway is the EU's new connectivity strategy that aims to create smart, sustainable, and secure link with countries around the world in the thematic areas of digital, energy, and transport. It also aims to strengthen health and education system across the world. So next, number 8, Google Books. Google Books is a service from Google and Corporation that searches the full text of books and magazines that Google has scanned, converted to text using optical character recognition, and stored in its digital database. Next, number 9, googlescholar.com. Google Scholar provides a simple way to broadly search for scholarly literature. From one place, you can search across many disciplines and sources. Articles, theses, books, abstract, and court opinions from academic publishers. Next, number 10, history sites with primary documents. 1. AmDocs. AmDocs is documents for the study of American history. Next is Avalon Project. It is documents in law, history, and diplomacy. Next is Internet Modern History Source Book. It is Colonial Latin America. Next, Teachers of Kingdom of History. Next, number 11, Illinois Digital Archives. The Illinois State Library, working with libraries, museums, and historical societies in Illinois, provides this collection of materials related to Illinois history. Next, number 12, Internet Archive. Internet Archive is a digital library of internet sites and other cultural artifacts in digital form. Next, number 13, Internet Archive for Carly Digitized Resources. The Internet Archive was established in 1996 with the aim of maintaining a historical record of the World Wide Web. Its goal is to preserve human knowledge and culture by creating an internet library for researchers, historians, and scholars. Next, number 14, Internet Public Library. Internet Public Library is an important site for educators. It includes extensive directories of online texts, newspapers, magazines, reference materials, plus an exhibit hall and other special sections. So next, number 15, IP12. a merger of Librarians Internet Index and Internet Public Library. Special interest may include the literacy criticism page, which can be found after clicking on the Special Collections link. So next, number 16, Librarians Internet Index. Librarians Internet Index is a searchable, annotated subject directory of more than 6,500 Internet resources selected and evaluated by librarians for their usefulness to users of public libraries. Next, number 17, Making of America. Making of America is a digital library of primary sources in American social history. So next, maps. Maps is a symbolic representation of selected characteristics of a place, usually drawn on a flat surface. Maps present information about the world in a simple, visual way. So next, number 19, Nation Master. Nation Master is a massive central data source and a handy way to graphically compare nations. It is a vast compilation of data from such sources. So next, number 20, nursing sites. First is AHRQ. AHRQ, or the Agency for Health Care Research and Quality, is to produce evidence to make health care safer, higher quality, more accessible, equitable, and affordable, and to work within the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and with other partners to make sure that the evidence is understood and used. Next is the National Guidelines Clearinghouse. National Guidelines Clearinghouse is a public resource website for evidence-based clinical practice guidelines run by the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality. The website gives the user the ability to learn more about guidelines, read expert commentaries, find guideline resources, compare guidelines, and much more. So next is PubMed. PubMed is a free resource supporting the search and retrieval of biomedical and life sciences literature with the aim of improving health both globally and personally. So next number is 21. Project Gutenberg. Project Gutenberg is an online library of free ebooks. Project Gutenberg was the first provider of free electric books or ebooks. So next, number 22, Shimoop. Shimoop is an education technology solutions company that provides engaging digital classroom tools and solutions aimed at easing the stress of the learning environment. So next, number 23, State Master. State Master is a unique statistical database which allows you to research and compare a multitude of different data on U.S. states using various primary sources such as the U.S. Census Bureau, the FBI, and the National Center for Educational Statistics. It uses visualizations technology like pie charts, maps, graphs, and scatter plots to provide data. So the last is the virtual reference. Virtual reference is a reference service initiated electronically, often in real time, where patrons employ computers or other internet technology to communicate with reference staff. without being physically present. So that's all the examples of useful and reliable web sources. We have 24 useful and reliable web sources. So nowadays, information could be shared or transferred quickly. People are becoming more interested in sharing information about themselves. Various aspects of our society are also being influenced by the information age, especially communications, economics, industry, health, and the environment. The rapid upgrade of information poses both positive and negative impacts to our society. Therefore, we need to carefully check our motives before disseminating information, and we also need to verify information before believing them and using and sharing them. We should share information that could help improve our lives and others. That's end our topic about the information age. Thank you and God bless you all.